Good afternoon, class. Today I am at Fashion Flowers with Mrs. Linda Bishop, the owner of this fine store, and beautiful background we have today. And I'm going to conduct this interview, ask her some questions. So let me start by saying how appreciative I am that you've agreed to do this video for me for this assignment that I have.
Thank you. Thank you to me. I appreciate it.
First question, how many years have you been in the floral business?
Well, my husband and I opened Fashion Flowers 41 years ago here in Lancaster. But when I graduated from high school, as a senior, I worked in a flower shop for 2 years before my husband and I were married. So I've been in the flower business for a long, long time.
Wow.
But owning my own store, it's been 41 years here in Lancaster.
What motivated you to go into the flower business?
That's a funny question. I was a junior in high school going in to be a senior in high school, and I was in a car accident. And I was rear-ended by my mother's boss. And in the hospital, and I was in traction, actual head traction. And I was in there for 10 days. And so I got flowers from, friends and family. And then also my husband, boyfriend at the time, he sent me flowers. And so my room was filled with flowers. And I thought, well, that would really be fun and interesting to do. Yeah. So after I got out of the hospital, of course, I couldn't work for 6 months. And then finally when I went out and started looking for a job, that was the first place I went, was a flower shop. Most of the time, flower shops want you to be experienced. Well, this lady named May Cook, she took me on as a rookie. And I was learned to deliver first, and I had to drive a Econo van, Ford van, 3-stick on the column, which I had never driven a 3-stick on the column before. So that was quite a feat. I worked there for a year, then my husband and I were married.
Okay. Are you a first generation flower shop owner?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Could you kind of walk us through the process of how you get the flowers into this beautiful shop?
Well, years ago, we used to go to the Los Angeles Flower Market, but now it's, as older as we've gotten, because you have to go really in the middle of the night. You have to leave here like at 1 o'clock in the morning, drive to L.A., load up, and come back. So now we have wholesalers that come. Some of the wholesalers come every day, some of them come 3 times a week, and then we have wholesalers that come just once a week. And so we order basically on a daily basis, as needed. I don't like to carry flowers in the store, for over 3 days, because that's a fresh commodity. And you want, when you deliver something to somebody's door, you want it to be fresh, and you want it to be perky, and you don't want to deliver old slimy flowers.
Of course. Other than selling flowers, what are the different venues would you say your shop is involved in, if any?
We sell some gifts. We sell plants. Of course, we do funerals and weddings. We do lots of baby showers, that kind of stuff off of the premises here. And in weddings, I've traveled as far as Indiana to do a wedding. I've done 2 weddings in Idaho. I've done a wedding in Georgia. I just, people, friends of ours or somebody that liked what I did, just hired me, and we went there. And either I had the flowers shipped to the location if there wasn't a flower market close enough, or we went to the flower market, got the flowers, and did the wedding at the location.
Speaking of weddings, what percentage of your business is devoted towards weddings?
Well, Randy, now during COVID, there's not a lot of weddings. People cannot find venues that are open. People cannot find banquet halls that are open that will let that amount of people in. So really, there's not a lot of weddings right now. I would say before, I'd probably say 25% maybe. And we had a good wedding business. I have one wedding booked for January 22nd, and that's the only wedding I have coming up right now. And usually we have a wedding almost every weekend. And so that's it. Funeral work is a good percentage of our business because of families, losing loved ones. And during COVID, of course, there was no funerals per se. So a lot of the flowers were going to the homes. People couldn't go to a funeral, so they would send family members flowers to their homes. So it's coming back, but it's not all the way back.
What would you say is the most rewarding aspect of owning a flower shop in America?
That's a tough one, Randy. Just seeing the smiles on people's faces when they receive a bouquet at the door. I don't get to deliver all the time, but people call and tell you thank you. It's the most beautiful bouquet they've ever received. And but then there can be some cranky ones too that call and say, "This is not what my son ordered." Well, she doesn't realize that that is what her son ordered. And but the compliments and the smiles on people's faces, and when you're across the counter from a family that has just lost a loved one, and they're entrusting you in doing flowers for the last time they'll see that loved one, that's big to me.
I was going to ask you, but you already answered this for us, but the next question was, how has the pandemic affected your business over these last couple of years? But you've
Well, we've been busier than ever. We were closed for 7 weeks, and then we opened a week before Mother's Day a year ago, and because Mother's Day is our largest day and our largest week, and we had to reopen to get things going. And but really the pandemic has put us out there more because of people not wanting to go out, people not wanting to go do anything, or people couldn't go to so-and-so's birthday party or anniversary party, so they send flowers. You can always send other things, but flowers are the most cheerful thing, I guess you could say, happy thing for somebody to send to an occasion.
Where do you see your flower shop in 5 years?
Well, I hope it's still here. I'll be 71 tomorrow. And so I was going to retire at the age of 70, but you can see I'm not. And but I believe the flower shop will still be here. I believe I'll still have employees to run the store even if I'm not here full time. And because there's no reason to close it. There's no reason to give it up. There's a lot of people that have given up on their businesses, and that's why I'm still here after 41 years. You have to work it.
Well, that leads me to the next question, which you've also already answered, but what would happen to your shop if you were to sell it? What do you think would happen to the shop if you, for some reason, you had to sell it? Based on this shopping area that we're in right here in Lancaster, California.
The shopping center itself is it's a nice looking shopping center. My landlord keeps it up very well. There's a lot of stores that have closed because this part of Lancaster is not a real shiny area. And there's not a lot of crime here. We haven't had any basic crime here or been broken into. Knock on wood right here. But it's just, if we had to sell it, I don't know where it would go. It depends on who would buy it. It's the person that has the drive that wants to do it. It's long hours. It's tedious hours. It's, you don't shut your brain off when you go home. Did I send that order to my wholesaler? Oh, did I order those flowers? What about this? What about that? Is there enough money in the bank to cover the checks I wrote today? That's, you don't shut it off. You go home with it every day.
How has the flower business changed from when you first started those many years ago?
Prices have gone up on everything. Prices are still going up today. because of the pandemic, because of just the wholesalers trying to bring flowers in from, and not all the flowers are grown in the United States. They're from all over Colombia. So you've got shipping on top of that. And then we had to raise our prices on delivery because of the gas prices today. I used to be able to fill up my van like every 3 days, but now I'm filling up the van every other day. And because of the mileage that we put on the vehicle. So yeah, it is what it is.
How many employees do you have, and do you consider that enough?
I have 2 full-time designers, and I have 2 delivery people, and then I have a person that comes in and helps us clean flowers. So we have 5. No, it's not enough. A small business, you have to be very careful to make a payroll. You know, if you're not selling this amount of product, you can't pay for somebody just to come in and stand around and answer the phone. Because my designers do everything. They answer the phone, they work the computer, they come to the front counter and work customers. I don't have just a salesperson. And that's what helps with me being here as much as I am, that I can come to the front counter. I can answer the phones. I can work the computer while they stay on designing. During holiday times, we do hire extra help, though. We have to, because of the volume that we deliver.
How much of your profit margin is consumed by things that are not the actual flowers, like things like boxes, vases, stick pins, or whatever those little things are called?
You know, Randy, I'm not good with numbers. I'm not good with percentages, but a lot. Yes, because it's not, because there's a lot more that goes into things other than just boxes and vases and stick pins. There's tape, and there's Oasis, and there's just stuff, you know. So I would say it's a good percentage.
Almost done. Approximately how many flower shops, if you know this, are in this area, and would you consider it a competitive market?
I am the competitor. That's how I feel. I think that people used to look up to another local flower shop, but he's tired. He's the same age I am, and he's tired, and he's not working the store like he can. He closes way early now since the pandemic. Half the time customers call me because that store is not open. There's 2 other flower shops in town that I would say that they're flower shops. One's a competitor, and the other one is probably not, because it's not run by the owner. It's run by cousins and nieces and nephews and stuff like that. So I feel I am the competitor here in town. I work real hard to keep my customers happy that are local. But you'd be surprised as even today, customers that order online, 1-800-Flowers or through Telflor or something, they order their orders online. They don't call me directly anymore. And the reason why is because they're using a credit card that they can get rewards points or mileage or something like that. So there's a lot of people that don't call on the phone anymore. Some will email me if they have my email. Some will fax if they have my fax. But most of the customers, they'll call, but there is a big percentage that they're doing it online. Online has probably hurt the floral industry.
And last question, and I think you already answered this, but what would you say is the most lucrative holiday, and maybe why? Tell us why.
Well, Mother's Day, of course, is the busiest. I can't say it's the most lucrative because you have to hire so much extra staff. We have to have so many extra vehicles to run, so we have to rent. Probably the most lucrative would be Valentine's. Mother's Day is the busiest, and we do more deliveries over the week span. But Valentine's and the 13th, the 14th, and the 15th are the busiest. And I think that would be the most lucrative time because it takes you less time in a designer's day to make a dozen roses than it does to stand there and make something that has 45 inserts instead of 12 inserts of flowers. What in this area lately, what has been growing here is Mexican Mother's Day. And that's a big holiday, and that's always May 10th. So if you have Mexican Mother's Day and Mother's Day fall on the same day, it's crazy. It's really crazy. And so the walk-in picks up a lot because those people walk in and they buy big bouquets of flowers. But I really say Valentine's is the most lucrative.
That's what my wife said too. She said that's got to be it. But, well, Mrs. Bishop, thank you so much, Linda, for spending time with me and helping me out in my class. And for those of you that have been reading my blogs for this class and my research assignment topics that have been based on weaponry, this is probably quite the departure for you to see me interviewing somebody in a flower shop. So I want to thank you very much again.
Oh, you're very welcome, and thank you for thinking of me.
All right.
I don't want you to watch it over while I'm here.
No problem.